In this business, farewells are sacred. Legacies are built not just on wins and losses, but on how a warrior exits the battlefield. And Bill Goldberg, da man, was never just another warrior. He was an explosion, an icon, a wrecking ball in boots. From his thunderous debut in WCW to his headline-grabbing returns in WWE, Goldberg wasn't just a name. He was a moment. Every time he walked through that curtain, intensity walked with him. So when WWE decided to frame his final match as a retirement moment, against Gunther, no less, the world paused. Fans gathered, hearts heavy with nostalgia, bracing for the end of an era. But what they got wasn't a coronation. It was a curtain call cut short. Saturday night's main event XL. The arena buzzed. The match delivered physicality. Gunther retained his championship, and Goldberg, for all his fury and fire, fell one last time. But that wasn't the story. The story began after the bell. When the cameras were supposed to roll. When the man who gave this industry decades of his life should have been handed the mic, the stage, and the send-off he earned. He didn't get it. His farewell speech, the goodbye fans came to hear, was cut short. Trimmed by the network. Silenced. Forgotten by the very company he once helped carry into the mainstream. And Goldberg. He didn't stay silent. He spoke out. Loudly. Emotionally. Honestly. In interviews, on podcasts, and in passing moments, he revealed what so many feared, that the WWE didn't treat his goodbye with the reverence it deserved. And now the conversation has shifted. Because Goldberg isn't just talking. He's teasing. Teasing the idea that retirement doesn't have to be dictated by one company's timing. Teasing the possibility of doing things his way. And that has brought all eyes to AEW. Yes, All Elite Wrestling. The home of new revolutions. Of broken molds. The place where legends come to rewrite their final chapter. Tony Khan's promotion, already boasting a deep roster and a taste for shockwaves, may be the arena where Goldberg finds closure. Where the roar of the crowd isn't muted, but magnified. But Goldberg alone isn't the headline. Because he isn't just looking for redemption. He may be looking for a rival. A man with a legacy as timeless as his. A man who, like Goldberg, helped define the Monday Night Wars. A man named Sting. Yes, the icon. And suddenly, the air in wrestling has changed. The internet is ablaze. Because if Goldberg walks into AEW for one last war, and Sting steps out of the shadows for one final dance, the result wouldn't just be a match. It would be history reborn. Two titans. Two veterans. One last ride. Sting's AEW run has been poetic. Triumphant. Fitting. But what if it wasn't over? What if, after stepping away earlier this year, Sting decides that there's one name, one match, one moment that could justify a brief return? Goldberg vs. Sting. AEW. It sounds unreal. But in wrestling, unreal is just next week's booking. Both men shaped an era. Both men stood atop their respective mountains. Both have earned the right to write their final chapter their way. And that's what this is really about. Control. Because Goldberg isn't demanding a title. He isn't begging for attention. He's asking for respect. For the space to say goodbye on his terms. To walk down the aisle, hear the crowd chant his name, and speak, without a network executive cutting the feed. To go out not in silence, but in thunder. And if AEW can offer that stage, if Tony Khan can recognize the power in one last Goldberg spectacle, the business itself could shift. Sting, for his part, has always walked the line between retirement and resurrection. And if Goldberg calls, if the match makes sense, who's to say he won't answer? Because this wouldn't be about titles. It would be about closure. And the fans, they'd rise. They'd roar. They'd relive the magic of a bygone era, reawakened just long enough to say goodbye the right way. Imagine it. The lights dim. The drumbeats roll. Sting emerges from the smoke. Bat in hand. Purpose in his stare. And then the sirens. The arena shakes. Goldberg walks out, sweat on his brow, fire in his veins. No promos. No games. Just intensity. Two legends. One final battle. In AEW, anything is possible. And in this case, possibility feels like destiny. Because Goldberg's story doesn't deserve to end in silence. It deserves to end in spectacle. In respect. In fireworks. And maybe, just maybe, with one last spear. One last stinger splash. One last standing ovation. No edits. No interruptions. Just wrestling history written in real time. Because legends don't fade away. They finish what they started. And for Goldberg, that finish might just be waiting in an AEW ring, with the icon standing across from him.